global news update on Top Accolade News. The headlines: Romania's first democratic president dies at 95. Karol Nawrocki is sworn in as Poland's president. Texas governor sues to oust Democrats who fled state over redistricting. India warns of billions in export losses to the U.S. We'll start on a gloomy note in politics as Romania's first democratic president dies at 95. Former Romanian President Iliescu, the country's first freely elected leader after the fall of communism, has died at the age of 95. Known for guiding Romania through its tumultuous transition to democracy, Iliescu served 2 terms between 1990 and 2004, overseeing Romania's NATO accession and EU bid. Despite his historic role, his legacy remains divisive due to unresolved accusations of crime against humanity stemming from the 1989 revolution and the violent suppression of protests in 1990. A state funeral will be held in Bucharest, with tributes pouring in from across the political spectrum, acknowledging both his influence and the controversies that followed him. Still in politics, Karol Nawrocki is sworn in as Poland's president. Karol Nawrocki, a conservative historian and supporter of Donald Trump's MAGA movement, has been sworn in as Poland's new president, ushering in a likely period of political gridlock with the centrist government of Prime Minister Donald Tusk. Backed by the Nationalist Law and Justice Party, Nawrocki's win has cast uncertainty over Poland's pro-EU direction and future support for Ukraine, with the new president signaling skepticism about Kyiv's NATO and EU ambitions. His potential veto power threatens to stall key reforms, while past controversies and right-wing proposals, including tax cuts and hardline U.S. alignment, are stirring political and public tensions. Moving on in politics, Texas governor sues to oust Democrats who fled state over redistricting. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has launched legal action to remove Democratic lawmakers who fled the state to block a controversial Republican-led redistricting vote. Targeting Democratic legislator Jane Roe as the ringleader, Abbott asked the Texas Supreme Court to fire him for abandoning office, arguing that the mass walkout denies quorum and paralyzes governance. More than 50 Democrats left Texas to stop the passage of the new electoral map that would give Republicans 5 additional U.S. House seats. As legal and political tensions rise, Democrats defend their move as a constitutional stand against gerrymandering, while the GOP seeks arrest and court orders to force a return. Moving to economy, India warns of billions in export losses to U.S. India is bracing for a potential loss of competitiveness in $64 billion worth of exports to the U.S., following President Donald Trump's move to impose a steep 25% tariff, along with assumed 10% penalty for continuing to import Russian oil. According to an internal government report cited by 4 Indian officials, the combined 35% hike would hit nearly 80% of India's export to the U.S., including key sectors like pharmaceuticals, textile, and petrochemicals. While the Reserve Bank has held its 6.5% GDP growth outlook steady, officials warn that the tariff would dent growth and spark intense trade pressure. Meanwhile, India's National Security Advisor is in Moscow to discuss energy and defense amid rising U.S. pressure over Russian ties. You're watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. In international relations, Putin hosts Trump's envoy in Moscow. With just days to go before President Trump's deadline to Russia to halt its Ukraine offensive, Vladimir Putin is holding talks in Moscow with Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff. The meeting comes amid mounting tension and the threat of sweeping U.S. sanctions targeting Russian oil, gas, and uranium exports. Despite repeated U.S. warnings, Putin appears unlikely to yield, confident in Russia's military momentum and skeptical of further sanctions impact, with countries making a last-ditch effort to prevent a deeper rupture between Washington and Moscow. Turning to conflict, Japan urges global push to eliminate nuclear weapons. Japan has marked its 80th anniversary of the U.S. atomic bombing of Hiroshima with solemn ceremonies and renewed calls for a nuclear-free world. At the Peace Memorial Park, Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba pledged Japan's unwavering commitment to disarmament, describing the bomb as an unbearable ordeal that must never be forgotten. With fewer than 100,000 survivors remaining, Hiroshima's mayor urged global leaders to witness the city's devastation firsthand and embrace diplomacy over nuclear arms. The ceremony honored the 349,246 names now memorialized and 55,000 people gathered in remembrance at the exact moment the bomb fell in 1945. Shifting focus to entertainment, Zara adverts ban over unhealthily thin model imagery. 2 Zara fashion adverts have been banned by the UK's Advertising Standards Authority for featuring models who appeared unhealthily thin. The watchdog cited one image where shadows and styling made the model appear gaunt, and another where a pose and low-cut shirt emphasized protruding collarbones, declaring the ads irresponsible. The ASA ordered that they are not shown again in their current form. Zara, which has since removed the images, said both models have medical certificates confirming they were healthy and denied using digital alterations beyond minor lighting edits. The ruling follows similar recent bans on ads by Marks & Spencer and Next. Now in sports, White House formed LA28 taskforce as Olympic preparations intensify. President Donald Trump has announced the formation of a White House task force, which he will personally chair, to oversee federal coordination of the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. The task force established by executive order includes Senator J.D. Vance as vice chair and will work alongside local and state leaders on issues like security, transportation, and visa processing. Trump praised the upcoming Olympics as a wonderful moment for America and pledged full federal support, including a $1 billion budget allocation. Despite ongoing tensions with California leaders, Trump said the city will be brought back stronger than ever in time for the Games. That concludes our global news update for today. Stay tuned for more global news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojorumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.